Hey, you need some coffee?
Yes.
Ellis, I need some more coffee.
That's a really bad lead into
Yeah, that was
this
a really
story.
bad lead. I'm already bored.
You guys, sorry. Well, somebody needed some coffee big time, apparently. A woman in Dalton allegedly has assaulted a McDonald's employee. Allegedly, after she had to wait for coffee. It's a serious thing for some people.
Yeah, I guess
What happened?
the story is that this woman named Mercedes went to the McDonald's drive-thru and ordered 2 large coffees, and then they told her that they were still brewing it, so she'd have to wait. And so she had already paid for it. She was sitting at that window where you wait to get your food, or in this case, your coffee. And she said she heard some employees laughing, and she thought that they were laughing at her. She told the police that she knew that they were laughing at her, according to the police. And so then she started yelling at them some obscenities, and the manager said, "Not in our establishment, not in this McDonald's," and told her to leave, and apparently tried to give her her money back. And when he did, she scratched him in the hand or something like that. This is, of course, all according to the police report from the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office. And the manager said, "Well, then I just tossed some change in there too, because I, owed her some change
give her her
because
money back.
she wasn't getting her coffee."
And one of the employees said she also threw out a racist remark toward him.
Yeah, something.
Well,
the manager was a
said the word
Latino,
Mexican.
was a Latino
Okay.
man.
I don't know if that's racist on its face, but
I don't know.
It's all about the context.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It
so
wasn't
then,
a nice interaction.
Anyway,
allegedly.
it's unpleasant for everyone.
Supposedly, she said she was going in to beat him, and the manager said she was scared, and she left. And then he called the police, and the police figured out through the security camera what car she drove and what the driver's license was, and then tracked her down to her home. And then she said, "Yeah, I yelled at them because they were, making fun of me." And that was the extent of it. And she bonded out later that day. It was, all things considered, a pretty low-level offense.
other than the scratch on the
police.
hand, no one was seriously injured.
Maybe some
that we know
psyches
of.
were injured.
Yeah.
Maybe some
Yeah.
McDonald's customers were not too happy to watch that. I was thinking about this. What would be the funniest place to watch a fight break out in Chattanooga? At what restaurant?
I was thinking Lamar's, but I
No,
guess that's
no,
not possible
Really
anymore.
sad.
Well, no, I
But
don't
that would
think
be,
I don't think that would be that
expected.
funny.
No, it's
I've
more
never
funny,
been
like,
expected either,
it's
but
more-
it was
I've seen a
just
fight there.
dark.
Oh, I have.
Just as the fight, because how the jukebox at Lamar's would just sort of spontaneously come to life. The scenario I'm imagining is you guys kind of start pushing, and then the music starts playing, and then it turns
Oh,
into.
you've
I
really
think-
thought about.
yeah.
I think
I think-
like a country club.
I think
is all
Mike's Hole in the
Country
Wall
Club.
would be really great.
Mike's Hole in the
There's
Wall.
a lot of real rowdy Tennessee fans there, and Tennessee's always doing so bad. Sorry, they're just always doing so bad. They're just
Sorry,
never
not
good.
funny.
They won the championship of life this year, though, so I'm happy for them. That's what their coach said. But I think that would be my favorite place to watch some guys. They would just start yelling about we were 3 for 13 on third downs this year. That was better this game. It was better this game. And then they would get in a fight with an LSU fan probably.
Have you seen the movie Kingsman?
No, but LSU fans are probably in that movie.
Because there's a fight in a church in that movie where there's that I think that would be if you need to watch the movie. It's one
You
of the
can
most
always
epic
see
fights
fights
of all time.
at kids' soccer games.
Yeah.
I'm talking about restaurants, though. I mean, church fights
Restaurants?
are really simple. Everyone's seen a good
Simple
old-fashioned church
assault.
fight.
Not
It's
me.
just crazy,
Not me,
overly
no.
overly zealous people. Yeah, you never. Okay,
Well,
well,
I think
we
the
don't-
lesson here. I think the lesson
don't
here
frequent
is don't
that,
ask
so.
people to pull forward. It's just not right.
give
It's
the
called
woman her
fast food.
coffee.
Try to
Well,
make it fast.
She has been charged with simple assault and disorderly conduct. So
She was asking for 2 large coffees at 5:50 p.m. though, which seems
5:50
p.m. a little bit late.
Yeah,
she
that's
could
true.
work a odd shift. Who
She
knows?
could work an odd shift, but
true.
still, I mean,
Third
I
shift.
think the latest I can get coffee is 4. After that,
It kind of ruins
After
your
dinner.
sleep schedule.
I think that explains the whole interaction, honestly.
Anyway, it's one of those weird stories that grabs people's attention. I wouldn't be surprised if you heard this one on a national news on a slow day. Yeah.
On a slow day, that's what
Yeah.
we're here for.
Right.
Bringing you the slow day news today.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have a lot of stuff going on. There's another odd incident of violence. A man got shot on Monday, and by Tuesday he was good to go enough to shoot someone else, allegedly. Is that what happened?
Well, it was actually him shooting came first.
Oh,
He did
okay.
good.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
Supposedly, this guy, Joshua Eaker, according to police, well, actually, according to the sheriff's office, went out to an apartment on Cummings Highway on January 2nd.
Okay.
And burst into the door looking for an ex-girlfriend, accusing her of stealing
Okay.
his cell phone. And then there's sort of different accounts of what happened in there. All the witnesses gave different stories, but the one that the deputies seemed to find most credible is that this Eaker guy started to try to hit his ex-girlfriend, at which point the ex-girlfriend's brother jumped up and was like, "Don't hit my sister," at which point Eaker pulled out a gun and was like, "I'm going to shoot everybody if I don't get my cell phone back," and then proceeded to shoot the ex-girlfriend's brother. And then he fled, and he was on the loose for about a week until Monday, when police found him suffering from a gunshot wound in Chattanooga outside a gas station on Lee Highway. And at that point, he was in serious condition from being shot, but went to the hospital and then recovered enough to go to jail on Tuesday for the charges in the first incident. So
So do they know how he got shot?
No, there's a suspect in that case, hasn't been caught, but the police described the vehicle as a light blue Toyota pickup truck. So they haven't said whether they think the shooter in the second shooting is related to the first shooting.
Somebody was coming back
or
for.
not. Yeah, but it's actually really common that shootings
Yeah.
in Chattanooga are one up.
Someone
one
gets
hit.
shot
Which
and
you
then
can
someone's
read
a
about
suspect.
in The Few Who
It's
Shoot,
like-
Shelley's
it's-
excellent
true.
piece that we published last year. It's very
Yeah,
good,
you can-
very good project. I think it's timesforpress.com/shots
Shots
fired.
Yeah,
So check that out. You can learn all about how these retaliation type things work.
yeah.
And more importantly, though, like how difficult it is to investigate. That's sort of the bigger
Yeah.
scope
Yeah.
of
Because
it,
they're
is
taking
it
the
makes it
law into
really
their own
difficult to-
hand. They don't necessarily want the police to intervene. They plan on going to take care of that job on their own.
Yeah, often somebody who's shot doesn't want to talk to police because they know that they were out shooting a few days beforehand,
Yeah.
and so they're not going to tell police why they got shot because
Police would trace
it
that
would
back.
then implicate them in a crime. So that's a very common problem in the city.
So to put it into context, some of the stats you found out
Yeah,
there.
so we found, well, in the Few Who Shoot was kind of a larger look at the whole issue of shooters being shot. We found that about half of shooters in Chattanooga have a violent criminal history or a gun charge on their records, or half of the people who are shot have that on their records. And then the police estimate like about 80% of our shootings are retaliation, like you
Wow.
shot my sister, so I will shoot you, or you attacked my ex-girlfriend, so I will shoot you, that sort of thing.
All right. Well, what an uplifting day.
Yeah, he's in jail on a $500,000 bond.
Okay.
Well, there was another piece of, I guess, shooting news that I guess I don't know whether it's uplifting or not, but they,
It's better.
but Andy Scher and Shelley, you both covered this actually. The July 16th shootings. One of the gentlemen who was in the Navy, what was
Yeah,
it?
a
What's it
Navy
called?
officer.
Yeah, he was there, and he had a personal sidearm, which turned into a big controversy at the time because
Controversy.
they're not supposed to have, or at the time they weren't supposed to be armed on the base. And
Yes.
so this went back and forth. And he had a personal sidearm, pulled it out, he says, and shot at the shooter. And we knew that
Shooter.
before. Abdulaziz, who was the guy who perpetrated all this. Well, now he says in a speech yesterday, he said that the first 3 bullets that went into the guy he called a jihadist were from Commander White's gun. So that was, I don't know, Shelley, you reported on a lot of that at the time. What do you...
Yeah, I guess he gave an invocation,
Yes,
right, at the
yeah,
State
at
Senate?
the General Assembly, correct.
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, we've known most of that for a while now that he opened fire.
Do we know that he hit the guy?
It was confirmed, I think, by the FBI late last year.
Okay.
But it was hard initially for them to tell because by the time that Abdulaziz's body made it to like the medical examiner, he had been shot
A bunch
many
of times.
Yeah. So the FBI was saying, well, we think he shot him, but it's kind of hard to tell. Like, he could have grazed him a couple of times. Like, it was difficult to track those bullets. But yeah, it sounds like he definitely did hit him.
It does say Navy officials have taken no action against Commander White, but the officer in the U.S. Naval Academy graduate said it's not necessarily resolved. They haven't done anything, but they haven't said nothing is going to happen. What they've said is they're waiting for the FBI investigation to be closed, and then they'll take action as necessary. But
And the Navy's actually, the Department of Defense has actually changed their policies around
Right.
personal firearms. So now, if you want to carry a personal firearm on a domestic base, which previously was forbidden, now you can apply with your superiors to get permission to do that for like 90 days, and then you have to reapply every, I think it's 90 or 60 days.
and that
to
happened
carry.
in wake of the July 16th
Yeah, it was
shooting.
almost, well, it was as a response to the July 16th shooting and like other domestic shootings on military installations recently. So.
Okay, well, we'll keep track of that. I don't know how that would ultimately affect him because that wasn't in place when this happened.
Yeah, it would
so.
be-
Yeah,
They'll
technically
have
he
to-
still violates the rules, but the Navy has, I would be surprised if he faces
Right.
any penalties for that.
Yeah.
And then we do have happy news today.
Good.
Andy Johns, who used to work here, actually, he was a.
He did?
Yeah, Andy Johns was a Times
Oh.
Free Press. I think he covered Georgia.
He covered
actually.
North Georgia before.
Yeah,
I
he
did.
was one of Tyler's predecessors, and he also
This
dealt
is
with
my future.
yeah he dealt with a lot of
Good.
dealt with a lot of.
My future.
let's show that.
I try to show pictures. Do you want to really show it? Andy.
We just did.
Okay. I like to try to show pictures.
Show it
He
twice.
looks like
That's
a very nice
that's Andy
guy.
right there.
Yeah, this
a
job doesn't
prodigy.
age you. Andy Johns, he went to, I guess he was reporting on chickens and carpet plants, and then he went to go work for.
Riveting.
He went to go work for a public relations firm, and then he decided, rather than wait for the end of my career to retire, let's go ahead and do the whole retirement thing now. My kid is young.
Oh.
Our families have a history of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, so there is no guaranteed retirement.
Oh.
So let's go ahead and knock it out now. So he sold his house of 8 years and rented an RV and has been
Okay.
traveling the nation, seeing everything he wanted to see. It's kind of a cool little story.
Very cool.
Yeah, so the plan was to do it for 2 years, and then his kid Braden will enter, I think, school, so he has to come back for T-ball and everything like that, and so he's
And
kind
also
of
school.
and school. So he's flipped the retirement thing on its head a little bit, which is kind of interesting.
And
I'd do it.
filmed this. So
Yeah.
4 years, the Lookout Mountain Film Festival has showcased the finest adventuring from directors near and far, and the 5th anniversary set is going to showcase this.
Yeah, he
this
actually
dream.
runs the Lookout
Oh,
Wild Festival
cool.
as well. So he was actually inspired to do it in part by a movie he saw at the film festival
Oh.
that's held here in Chattanooga.
Oh, really?
So
That's cool.
So yeah, he was able to make it work. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, he should come in and talk to us.
I'm sure he will eventually. He's
He's busy
talk about it.
traveling.
He's in another part of the country right now.
Oh,
But anyway, do we want to talk about Xander Cage at all, or save that for another time?
That's next Friday. Maybe
Next
we can
Friday?
preview that next Friday.
Okay.
But he's the action hero the world needs.
Okay, but
Right
maybe
now.
not the one it deserves.
Probably not the one it deserves, but the one it needs.
Okay, so we'll so that's a little tease for something coming up later in the month,
Wow.
and talk about
January 20th, Donald Trump gets inaugurated, and Vin Diesel returns, and Triple X, the return of Vander Cage.
what a
Vander
day!
Cage.
yeah. So you've
What a
got
day. I'm
your
gonna have some
choice
coffee
of
for
ways
that.
to enjoy the day.
I'm taking off for California on that day. Taking off. I'm gonna
Leslie's
escape.
leaving.
I'm gonna escape.
California's
I'm going to
still
La La Land.
California's still in the United States, Leslie.
It's
It has not,
So-
seceded
it's kind
yet.
of like when you go to Hawaii. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that way. So that's what I'm doing for
Yeah.
the inauguration.
I'll be here talking
Yes.
with you.
There's also like a million woman march in Nashville. I think
Maybe swing by there on the way to California.
that would be good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So lots of options. We know where you'll be.
We'll be marching
Yeah.
somewhere. Straight to the theaters, probably.
Marching straight to the theater. We should do that. Do a
I
little
saw La
parade.
La Land. Speaking of last night, you guys have to see it. Has anyone else seen it?
It's on my list
Not
of things
yet.
to do.
It's good.
You're not a
It's
big musical
really
guy.
good.
It's a
I
little
haven't
different.
seen it yet. I like musicals. Musicals are delightful. I just haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well,
It's
thank you for saying
different.
that.
It's different. Yeah. Okay. This has been a very interesting talk. From darkness to light, right?
That's
I don't
right.
know.
End on a high note.
Okay, we're gonna go play with some guitars later.